Don't point at it.
Well, it's only for us. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sticks and Sips, the Drew Estate Virtual Happy Hour. I am Frankie Dranks Moreno. I am your host, coming to you live, episode 22 from the Drew Estate Studios. And I've got a really big show today. So I want you guys to, first of all, check in from where all of you are tuning in from, because I love to see that. And as we do every week, I've got a raffle item. And this week, we've got the Pappy Van Winkle Travel Humidor. You know, you guys want one of these. All you got to do is ask a question, hashtag Ask Frankie Drinks. We pick your question, you're a winner. So don't miss out. Today, we got a huge show. We are celebrating California Wine Month. We are celebrating National Bourbon Heritage Month. September's big. It's big. And so let's throw up the menu for our happy hour today. So today our sips, we're sipping wine. This is that wine episode all you guys have been talking about. What do I pair with a cigar with? So I've got my first guest, Rafael Balestra, who's going to tell us all about wines, and he's a cigar guy, and he loves pairing. And we're going to talk about how we go about that, learn a little bit about our beautiful sip today, which is Caliza Winery Azimuth, and it's a 2016 vintage. My next guest is Carrie Van Winkle from Pappy and Co. So happy to have her back, and super excited about that. You know, what's a stick today? What else could it be? It's Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented cigar, one of my favorites. So welcome back to the show. Good news, I'm not making a cocktail today, but I am pouring some delicious wine. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this because I need a little sip. So I ask you guys, go ahead, pour yourself a little something delicious, and join me as I give the little welcome toast to you, all of you, for tuning in. I want to thank you guys. Week 22 weeks in a row. So cheers to you guys for tuning in.
Cheers.
Oh my God, that's delicious. So let's go to that Zoom. Let's go to that Zoom lounge. And I'm going to start with my man, Joey, down there. As soon as he unmutes himself. Joey, say hello to everybody.
Yo, you left out something. It's also International Mezcal Week, just so you know. Don't think I didn't forget it, because I didn't. Cheers to everybody out there drinking their mezcal tonight.
Drinking mezcal, drinking wine, drinking bourbon. I mean, come on.
Whatever gets you there.
Champagne, vodka.
Good day, bad day. Let's do it.
Let's do this. So welcome back, Joey. 22 weeks in a row. Glad to have you here.
Going great.
Have a good time, man. You're going great. Now, you know what happened to train spotting? You know, we got to fix that. So
the roots are coming out. So
look at that. It's a beautiful thing. And next up, we have Carrie. How you doing?
Hi, good. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me. Always. I'm really enjoying this red. It's delicious. It goes down a little too easy.
Well, that's a sign of a really nice wine, right? It's got a beautiful bouquet. It's fantastic, and so happy to have you back. And you know, we've been waiting a long time, but it gets a little crowded, up in the Sticks and Sips world. But we're so glad you made some time to join us today. So we'll be checking in with you in a little bit. And last but not least, my man Rafael Balestra. He's a legend in South Florida, in all things spirits, cooking, hunting, smoking meats. You can catch him on Butts and Briskets on Instagram. You're gonna love it. So, Raph, welcome to Sticks and Sips, brother. Cheers.
Cheers, Frank. Thank you very much for having me. Cheers to everybody out there in the world. Joey and Carrie, nice to see y'all, and I'm pumped to get talking about some vino. So, cheers.
Fantastic, my man. So let's tell everybody a little bit about you, Raph, because you've had like a very long history in the spirits and wine world. So kind of give us a quick rundown.
Yeah, I mean, it really started with a love for food and thinking I wanted to be a chef originally. When that didn't pan out, worked a couple of different bars and bar backed and worked security. But I really tuned into wine and spirits probably around 2008 and 2009, and realized it was a good entrance into being part of the culinary world, but not having to run a kitchen day to day. I studied some wine classes at FIU, and I live by the motto: the path to wine knowledge is littered with many bottles. So you're never going to learn more unless you just drink them, right? If it's a $5 bottle or if it's a $50 bottle, you're not going to know what that is unless you pop it open and drink it. So from there, I went into distribution after working in a restaurant for a little bit, and then on the import side for 4 years. And now, most recently, I'm with a small distributor that launched last year here in Florida with a really cool book, about 500 SKUs, handful of wineries, emphasis on family, emphasis on small production, and just doing what I love, being able to spread knowledge, show that there's always a place for a different bottle of wine in the market.
Well, listen, always hanging out with you is a lesson, is a culinary lesson. It's a wine lesson. It's a spirit lesson. And, you know, let's jump right into wine. Listen, we've got so many viewers that ask these questions. What wine can I pair with cigars? What do you recommend? And I think we've got a really nice selection here today. We're starting with the Caliza Winery. So this is their Azimuth 2016. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so this wine is from a growing region in Paso Robles. So Paso Robles is south of Napa. And when I say south of Napa, it's not just south of Napa. It's a couple hours away south. But Paso Robles is known mainly for its varietals that you would find in the Rhone Valley. So you're going to find Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Viognier on the whites, Roussanne, Marsanne, things like that. This is a blend, and I thought it was an appropriate pairing for a cigar because it's rich and bold. It's got some good fruit notes to it. Some of the barrel characteristics come through a little bit, but it's also soft and smooth. So, when I'm pairing wine with food or spirits with food, you never want to have a flavor that overpowers one another. So if you're pairing a salad with a vinaigrette, try and stay with a white wine that's going to show those characteristics. So I thought that being appropriate to do it with a cigar, and when I'm in the backyard, got something in the smoker. If I'm going to smoke a cigar and not drink bourbon, then I'm going to try and pair something soft. So I just wanted a clean, easy drinking. We always get to hear about wines that are small production and you don't ever really get to drink them. So I decided that this would be a good foray into that because they only made about 250 cases of this wine in the 2016 vintage. So this is something that is available, but it's also somewhat special. So I wanted to go into that. The other wines up there.
Hang on a second. So
yep.
I'm going to ask my producer to throw up that beautiful slide of Caliza. And so you guys it's Caliza, Caliza Winery. You could look them up online as well and get to see, because they actually, as a family winery, they've got a few different varietals as well. But this one is quite fantastic. And, I challenged them. I said, listen, I know you smoke Pappy Van Winkle like I do. And people say, well, yeah, it's a tough cigar to pair with. And I said, no, it has some really nice, beautiful notes to it. A lot of beautiful flavors. And what do you think? And, I don't think I could trust anyone more than I trust your opinion on this one. And let me tell you, spot on. Fantastic. We got even, Carrie's nodding. She's like, yes, it's fantastic.
I mean, it's so smooth. It's so good. I can see how it could just mellow out anything.
Yeah, that's really what we go for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every sip of wine should reset your taste buds for either food or the cigar or whatever the next experience is that you're going after. And that's kind of how I lead into it.
So Ralph, we were actually going to talk about, like, I've got another one here. It's your Orinda Haze.
Sure.
And that one's also tell us about that one. That's also another Paso Robles, right?
Yeah, so I picked that one really on the value play side, right? Paso Robles, the fruit the wines, they tend to be a little less expensive. It doesn't carry the prestige necessarily across the board that you'd find in some of the other wine growing regions in California, but there's a lot of value there. And so that is the Arindahe's proprietary red, the Paso Robles blend. And it's 60% Cab, 25 Merlot, 10 Malbec, and 5 Zinfandel. So it might give you a little more bold flavors than the Caliza, because the Caliza is a little more fruit driven. You're going to get, perhaps some more bold, richer notes on that. If you like more of the chocolate style and cinnamon and tannic structure, you're going to find that there for sure.
Well, I was lucky to try that yesterday with our good friend Eddie De La Maza from Big Game Liquors. So we were able to have a little bit of that, and I will say that it is fantastic. It is very tannic, and you kind of feel like it's like, it's hard to sometimes differentiate between tannic and oaky and woodsy, but as the more you try them, the more you're able to start to differentiate. And I thought it was fantastic. So,
yeah.
And then you also recommended this Keisler, right? It's Keisler Avignon, and that one's from Australia, man. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Sorry about the dogs in the background.
My dog is barking your dog.
It happens. So the Keisler is the Avignon, the 2014, and very similar fruit on that blend than what you find in the Caliza. It's a Grenache and Mourvedre, 72% Grenache, 28% Mourvedre, hand harvested, hand picked. It's one of the oldest wineries that you'll find in Australia, and I thought it was a great idea to bring that in because I know probably a lot of the fans also like smoked meats and probably just game meats in general, and usually those Australian wines pair really, really well with that. So that's why I wanted to show that wine as well.
And obviously, being a Pappy Van Winkle fan of the cigar, we've got that beautiful Kentucky fire cured, barrel fermented doble capa that we use on that cigar, and I think that's it's a great way to pair those. Talking about layering flavor over flavor, that's a fantastic thing. And then you added one special thing. You added bubbles. All right, so tell me about pronounce the name for me.
Cuillère.
So the Cuillère Brut non-vintage, and a beautiful example of bubbles. And a lot of people going, why would you drink bubbles with cigars? And I'm like, wouldn't you want to emulate Winston Churchill?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, there's cigars named after him. There's a producer of champagne that names their top tête de cuvée after him. But bubbles for me, and being a wine lover, aren't just for celebration. They're wine. And we don't just use them in a sense of celebration or as an aperitif. I was lucky enough to be a part of a wine tasting last night. We went through eight different tête de cuvées of bubbles and broke them down, and they're all very different. It's very much like a still wine. The cool thing about bubbles is, as you start to develop the palate for them and go into them, you start to drink them much out of a glass like you and me have, just a regular red wine or a regular white wine glass. And some of that effervescence you let die down, you let it kind of open up and perhaps get a little bit warmer than just ice cold, because ice cold in wines will mute flavor profiles. So I'll drink my wines. I'll let them warm up so that I get some of those impurities or imperfections, if they're even there, and you can really find the winemaking style. So the Cuillère is a grower from Nord de Reims in the Massif de Santerre, and it's 55% Meunier, 35% Chardonnay, and 10% Pinot Noir. So for people that don't know, Champagne predominantly can be 3 grapes, and it's Pinot Meunier, Chardonnay, and Pinot Noir. And the reason that the Champagne is white is because there's no skin contact. So after the grapes are pressed, they're moved to a fermentation tank. So the majority of color There's a few grapes, but the majority of color in wine is all extracted from the skin during the fermentation process. So they ferment that and then turn it into that beautiful bottle of bubbles right there. And we were talking earlier, go with a lighter wrapper on your cigar. Don't go for something big and bold and powerful. Really let the wine speak to you on that.
So I know you've got an undercrown shade with you, and I think that's what a fantastic pairing for a champagne, man. Guys that you said it's not to celebrate, so you should drink champagne every day. I agree. My wife particularly agrees. My pocketbook, it don't agree too much, but we've had some great champagnes together, and it's always like a learning experience going through this. And one of the things that that we chatted about briefly was the role of the blender, much like the master blender for cigars, in their role in acquiring flavors. So if you do like a little bit of a deep dive, you realize that the blends do change year to year. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're 100% correct. The winemaker really has autonomy to make those wines. So a lot of times they're going with what Mother Nature gives them. So your fruit selection from year to year is going to be different. Your ripeness levels, your pH, your sugars, things like that. But once it gets in the fermentation tank and it does what it needs to do, that's really where it becomes a palate science and tasting and panels. And what they're trying to do is put out the best possible product year after year. Now, there are some wines that are single varietal. And just because it says one varietal on the bottle doesn't mean it's only that varietal. There's laws that dictate certain quantities that will allow it to say Cabernet Sauvignon on the bottle, but it's not 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. But to that point, the winemaker's using some of the other grape varietals to soften out the edges, to round them out. Maybe the front palate's missing something. Maybe the back palate's missing something. The finish could be off. So using these different varietals to put them together. And look, there's laws in France and Italy, and we could sit here and talk for hours. We might run out of airtime about all of the different things that go into this, but you're 100% correct. It's all about making the best product that Mother Nature gave you the ingredients for that year.
And listen, I'm gonna get Joey in on this, but before I do that, make sure you get those questions in. Ask Frankie Drinks, or you can ask Rafael, ask the wine guy. It's all good. Get those questions in. I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to ask one of those deep questions that only Rafael can answer. And Joey, what I was going to say is, we bring this up all the time. Guys that enjoy our cigars, our Drew Estate fans out there that love to smoke our products, it's always kind of reminding them that this tobacco leaf is an agricultural product, and
different year to year. 100%. Yeah, no, it's and that's the whole job of the master blender and his team, that year over year, as they're producing cigars, to maintain the consistency of the flavor profile, using leaves that are, the blend is the blend, but sometimes one leaf is tasting a little bit different than it did the last time. So you compensate with a little bit more of something else. You're trying to maintain that center point for each blend of cigars with an agricultural product that gives you variations, throughout a year, and then years and years on top of that.
Those are some of the parts of the wine industry which are emulated by the cigar industry, by our master blender as well, to create this product that's consistent in this flavor profile year over year, always keeping in mind that they are agricultural products. So
yeah, there's an ebb and a flow to it all, and some years something will be smoother and creamier. Other years it'll be a little bit more spicier. And that just depends on what is nature giving you? What is your process dictating that you pull out of, in tobacco pilones, and what's in your aging rooms? So there's so many varieties of things that take place that influence the taste of your cigar at the end, same the way it is with a wine. that's what makes them so wonderful, is that you get to experience all these different nuanced expressions throughout your journey.
So, Rafael, I've got a question for you. You mentioned, I think most people know the Grenache. Most people know Syrah, right?
Yep.
Mourvedre.
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can trace these varietals: Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Petit Syrah, Carignan, Cinsault, Counois, back to the Rhone Valley in France, which is just south of, for all intents and purposes, just south of Burgundy. But when we're looking at the varietals in different places of the world, they're called different things. So if you've ever picked up a bottle of Spanish wine and you see Mourvedre on it, in Spain it's called Monastrell, and that's in the region of Jumilla and Valencia. But Mourvedre is a grape, just like these other grapes, that may not be as common, but they're very common in blends. You're probably not going to find a straight Mourvedre wine. You will find a straight Grenache, you will find a straight Syrah, but the Mourvedre grape is going to be more used in the blending of things.
Listen, so a lot of you guys are starting to look into wines, and you're finding things that are, if you see something that's a GMS, guys, Raf, GMS very simply is a
GSM. It's a Grenache,
GSM.
Syrah, Mourvedre blend.
Excellent. So, so you guys that are tuning in and checking out, Rafael, give us a quick guideline of somebody that wants to get into wine and they're a cigar person. They like to enjoy their cigars. Like what's that path that you're recommending to them?
Yeah, I mean, so first and foremost, train your palate, train your senses. One of the easiest things that I would do, and that I still do, and I find myself doing, is you got to keep your palate and your nose is something that can be fully trained. And so when you're driving around, maybe in a spring day, and depending on where you are in the country, I get it, not everybody's got the same spring day, but if you smell a Saturday fresh cut grass, make a mental note of that, right? Understand what that smells like, and kind of take that mental picture. You go to the grocery store, pick up green peppers and red peppers and smell those. What does the lettuce smell like? All of those things have a very different and distinct smell at different times in their process. So fresh cut grass smells extremely different than fresh cut grass with water or dew on it. Just like old hay smells different than decaying grass. Lemon peel smells different than lemon rind or lemon zest or the pulp of the lemon. So as you're cooking, as you're going through life, like just stop and, to use the saying, stop and smell the roses. There's a lot of different things you can get out of that one rose. So that was really one of the first things. You're not going to dissect things 100% the first time. You got to train into it. You got to taste. You got to go through it. But if you start training yourself to just stop and take a minute to figure out what those senses are and what those smells are, you'll start breaking them down more and more in the wine.
I have a question, Raph. So
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely need to do that. And I think that would be a great exercise to do more things like that and just stop and think and take notes. But I find that I contradict myself all the time, even with like bourbons and wines, where I like something one day and then the next day I don't love it, or I feel like I'm like, is this the same wine I was drinking yesterday? And my palate changes, I feel like. So I can't
Sure.
even trust my palate.
Sure. I mean, and the other thing about wine, it's a living organism. There's a lot of
Right.
different ways to make wine. Some of them have, pretty much they all have sulfites for the most part for preservative in a minute amount. But some of them are made in an organic fashion. Some of them are made in the traditional sense. Some of them have native yeasts. Some of them are biodynamic. And when you start looking at all those different styles and types, everything's going to age differently. The other thing is, if you have a glass today, are you opening a fresh bottle tomorrow, or are you drinking the rest of that bottle that you opened that day? Because now you introduced your oxygenation factor to it. and
Yeah.
that wine, once it hits oxygen, it's decaying.
Yeah, I totally get that. But I feel like too, I think it maybe depends on like what I've eaten or what kind of day I've had or
Yeah, I think
I don't
that's
know,
with everything. That's with
stress or-
everything. Same thing with cigars too. It's
yeah,
it's the time and the place. So what mood are you in? Did you have a rough day? Was it an easy day?
right.
Are you sitting back just to finally unwind and relax and let it all go? So much of just time and place influences your taste, your sense of smell, and
Mhm.
it's day to day. So it's not ever. You trust your palate because you know what tastes good and what
Right.
doesn't.
I know what I like
Uh,
and don't like.
yeah, yeah. So that's the easy part. But I think to Frank's question, I guess there's a baseline that you can use as your initial guide, and I think it would follow food where you say, oh, red wine goes with steaks and meats and roasts and stuff, and a lighter wine would be good with fish and stuff and chicken and stuff of that nature. And you could pretty much follow the same suit with a cigar. I think a nice bold red with a lot of bouquet in it. I think the Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented, absolutely, because now you're introducing this really rich tobacco with a hint of that fire cure that's still coming through. You can do it with an acid 20 Robusto, another phenomenal group of flavors in there. You could do it with a Liga 9. A broadleaf just is amazing with a great red wine. And then to the converse of that, man, if you have a white wine or a Chardonnay, then a Shade or the Pappy Tradition or a Herrera Esteli Habano would work just fine.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Pappy, I'm sorry, Carrie, that was a great question. You didn't hashtag Ask Frankie Drinks, so we're not going to count it. So you don't
She
get to
doesn't get
travel
one.
humidor, but everybody else out there got those questions coming in. Make sure you get Ask Frankie Drinks. We're not gonna accept Carrie's question though. It was a good answer, and I think time and place definitely affects the flavor perception.
And
We
what you
actually
ate
had
that day? Did you have spicy foods that maybe your
Right.
palate's
Yeah.
dulled out? Did
Mhm.
you, eat light, right? What time of day did you drink it? You're going to get
Yeah.
different things. I mean, for me, I like to taste wine and spirits in the morning. And people are like, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, my
No, it makes
palate's
sense.
fresh. It hasn't been muted with anything else. Brush my teeth, rinse with Sauvignon Blanc so that the acid just rips all the toothpaste out. And then let's go to work. Let's taste.
There you go. I'm gonna keep a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc right next to the bathroom sink and see the questions come up.
Wait, I have a question for Rafael. Only
Did
because
you
a bunch of our
hashtag Ask Frankie Drinks?
no, I'm going to hashtag Ask Rafael. There's been a big move on, and I see it a lot now in a lot of the wine shops that I visit for natural wines. Are you seeing any movement in that in your own portfolio or just in general?
Yeah, there's a huge move towards natural wine. I think it's great. Everybody needs to taste. I mean, we've got to just understand what goes into natural wine versus conventional and how those things change, right?
Right.
And there's certain fail stops in there. Um, just like traditional wine, there might not be a natural wine that people like, and vice versa. So
Yeah. No, it's a
just
very particular flavor that comes through.
some of the producers, yes, some of them not. It goes back to smoking cigars. Understand what the person was trying to do with that product before you pass judgment on if it's good or bad.
Yep. Correct.
So listen, Raph, I'm gonna thank you for joining in. You're not going anywhere. I want you to pepper Carrie with all the questions you've got about Pappy and Co. in a second. But with that, cheers, my brother. Hey, this guy's one of the best barbecue guys I know. Follow him on Butts and Briskets Instagram. You get
Ooh,
to watch,
that's a tough one, man. We got Anfan
That's
is a pretty good barbecue master.
I'm
We have to put a challenge up with him and Anfan.
as good as my last rack of ribs.
Sounds like he's the jack of all trades.
Yeah. We're coming over his house, man. It must be some party over there.
Oh, I've been to parties at Raph's house. They're legendary, to say the least.
Oh, I need to
say
get in
the
on
least.
this whole thing. I'll bring all the bottles of mezcal with me. We're ready to go.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Frank,
So,
thank you very much.
cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys get your questions in. Next up, I've got the founder of Pappy & Co. along with her sisters, Louise and Chenault. The company represents, I guess, the epitome of what this month is about, National Bourbon Heritage Month. And you got like 4 generations of family history of bourbon heritage that you could trace back. And I know that makes them very proud. We're very proud that we collaborate with Pappy and Co. to produce a beautiful Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented cigars. And I think, she's just an amazing person, and it's an honor to have you back, Carrie. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I probably said something similar last time, that I so appreciate the way Frankie knows our business and who we are and what we do now versus what our family does. And not everybody takes the time to understand really who we are. So Frankie's got us figured out, and I appreciate that.
So let's remind everybody, because we got new people tuning in. This show's grown from the 7 people that used to tune in back in the day, and now we've got upwards of 8. So that are tuning in. So Jack is having a conniption right now. But let's remind everybody about Pappy and Co.
Yeah. So I started this business, crazily enough, almost 7 years ago with my 2 sisters, and our families in the bourbon business. Our family produces the Pappy Van Winkle brands. And so back in the day, we just were realizing, well, we have this special family bourbon business that has a lot of popularity, but there's no merchandise associated with it. And so we definitely were filling a gap in this whole, promotional merchandise world, that we wanted to be able to offer products to all of our fans. And then it quickly just evolved into really, a lot cooler things and really neat partnerships like Drew Estate, which was luckily one of our first really substantial, awesome partnerships. And so we've just evolved from there. And now we partner with other amazing brands who share our same values and way of doing business and making products that are true and authentic and real, things like that. And so that's kind of what's been driving us forward. And Drew Estate, making the cigar, obviously is our favorite. But we make everything from we have a specialty food line with barrel-aged food products. Probably our most popular is a barrel-aged maple syrup and a barrel-aged pepper sauce. And we're getting it into smoked things. So that's something fun that's coming up, where we're using our retired barrels to smoke food, which is really exciting. But yeah, so it was just, this whole Drew Estate partnership has just been really special. And it all started through a really a personal friendship with JD. We were introduced through a mutual friend. And so obviously we had the intent to hopefully build a product together, but we basically, luckily this was when JD had, he was kind of bowing, I can't even remember how it all went, but he was bowing down from his really strenuous travel or something. And so anyway, he had more time than he ever had. So we'd have long conversations, which really kind of just built the foundation of our partnership. And we created this, and we've just never looked back. And we're just really thankful to have such a well-received, likable cigar that so many people enjoy and appreciate and respect.
Well, I'll be the first one in line to say that not only do I love Pappy Van Winkle cigars, but as being one of these people that understands the amount of craftsmanship that goes into the Pappy cigar, where taking that Kentucky fire cured leaf, taking that into where we fire cure it, taking it down to St. James Parish, putting it in the barrels, having it barrel fermented, just that step, 500 pounds of tobacco, instead of a pilon, it's going into a barrel. And then we are applying thousands of pounds of pressure that are, accelerating that fermentation process and creating that beautiful double wrapper. So, I'm going to show everybody here because
And it's
I
like
could
a
just-
total transformation. What happens in the barrel under pressure, that Perique style of tobacco, it just transforms. It becomes this juicy, ultra condensed flavors. The smoke still is lingering there, not as intense as a Kentucky Fire Cured, but it's just underlying there, and it supports the rest of the body of the cigar. And that's really what makes it so special and so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show that. I'm going to put that as close to the camera as I can get it. And you see that beautiful doble capa.
And part of the reason also for that is that it gives you a different mouth feel compared to the other wrapper that's employed. So you really, really get the mouth feel, which is, you're putting a cigar in your mouth. So there's other senses that are taking place on your lips, on the front of your tongue when it encounters that leaf.
Mm-hmm.
That it reinforces a lot of the flavors that are about to come once you light it up. And it's all about, again, like I talked about it the last few episodes, it's like slowing your process down to enjoy the cigar. Smell the cigar before you light it. Gently toast the foot. Don't burn the ever-living hell out of it. And then just sit back and enjoy it for what it is, and enjoy the moment that you're smoking it.
And this
Yeah,
is
I love that
truly...
it's so, sorry, Frankie.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just love that it's so set apart from other blends, and that it's so specific to that barrel fermented Perique tobacco situation, but that it's such a likable cigar. So you don't often, I find that you have something so different but so likable, which is really
it's like walking a tightrope, and you know, on this one we really got it. It's
totally
from the first moment where we were all smoking the first generation samples of it, everybody knew that, oh my God, this is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And then to put, your great grandfather on there, and that name is, wow. That's something that's really special. And to Drew Estate, that's a humbling experience to know that we get to be a partner with you guys to represent that family history and that heritage with a product that we feel as confident as you do about your bourbon, that we know that it stands the test of time.
Yeah. We definitely had to put a lot of trust in JD, and I think it was Willie, obviously, who was involved, but because we just can't just make something and just put our name on it. So we had to do it right, and it took a long time. I remember back in the beginning, we didn't have the blend right, and we made a huge change. And at that point, we'd already pre-sold our first batch of cigars. And JD, I don't know how many orders we had, but a lot. And he was like, "We'll send them all a box of Liga Privadas. We'll just, tell them we made a switch." And and so everybody, I don't think we got one customer service issue once we sent out that email when people were looking for their cigars to arrive. Like, it's going to take a little bit longer, but here's a box of Liga Privadas. So it's just a testament to, doing it the right way. And
sometimes you got to make that hard call, and you say, look, we can't rush this. We can't push out something that we're not confident in. And that goes with any product that we make. It's, look, if it's not right, it's not right. And then you wait until it is, and then you move on it.
Mm-hmm. And I think for me too, because it is my family's name, that's embarrassing. I send our emails out. I launch products, and I know that my friends and family, my whole life and growing up, like, they're all seeing it. And I just kind of use that as like, would my family approve, or I don't know, would this feel right in my gut, and I can't put my name on something that isn't true and real and something that we would use in our daily lives, or that we would feel good about promoting and sharing.
Well, listen, we're incredibly proud to be associated with Pappy Van Winkle, to be partners with you in such a beautiful product. I do know a guy that would be interested in some barrels to use in his smoker. So if you got any, extra staves, right. His name is Rafael. I think he might be able to hook you up with some wine. Maybe you guys could work out a nice trade.
A little trade.
There you go.
I think we can do that. I think we can do that.
In the name of research, always in the name of research.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one of the things I wanted to mention, you guys can get Pappy Van Winkle at your Drew Diplomat cigar retailer, but you guys have a couple of beautiful SKUs that you guys can only get through Pappy and Co. And that's the Flying Pigs. They're so exclusive that not even I can get them.
Nobody can get them.
And everybody loves those. And what's your take on the Pappy Flying Pigs? If you haven't had one, it's a treat.
It's so fun. I just think it's classic Drew Estate material that we get to have a special part of. The Flying Pig is just the best. I mean, curly, cute little cigar. I mean, at first, the Drew Estate guys were like, okay, we're gonna give you all exclusive access to the pigs and pigs that. Isn't that what you call them? The pigs? Yeah.
The
Pigs.
The pigs.
Flying pigs.
And so finally, we had a few team members on the call. I'm like, girls, it's a cigar, because we have a full-on women-led business, which is kind of hilarious for more of a male-dominated family business. And it just so happens, but I had to explain what we were talking about. But so it's really fun, and people love them, and we've obviously found that out.
The beautiful Vitola. This isn't one, but just for everybody get the little pig. These things are great.
Who came up with the pig, by the way?
Well, I mean, I think Joey could tell you.
Well, it was a long time ago. There was a lot of different things going on. The first pig was the Liga Privada number 9 Flying Pig. So that's going back a ways to like 2008, I guess, 2008. And then from there, it was just a fun, unique size. Drew Estate fashion, calling something Flying Pig, because Drew Estate would only be successful when pigs fly, and then here we are. It's kind of our way of poking a little bit of fun at that, and then having that size just being so fun. We've made it in a lot of different variations across different lines, and so to be able to do it in the barrel fermented for Pappy Van Winkle was just a no-brainer, and it just works. It's just a fun cigar. It tastes amazing. I think some people even. I mean, I talk to a lot of guys that are like, "Wow, Flying Pigs are my favorite."
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird for that to say, because it's such an oddball size.
Right.
It's a short, chubby, fat, stout, bomb of a cigar.
Yeah.
But it's really, really, and it's fun. That's the other thing. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. You can't all be serious about everything.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I like that combination of it, where it's fun, but it's actually a real legit cigar.
Yep.
Oh, it's legit. And one of the things also only through Pappy and Co. is the Pappy tradition. So for you guys that are asking, where can we get the Pappy tradition? Go on Pappy and Co. And so Carrie, I'm going to ask you, what you touched upon a couple things, like what's new for Pappy and Co.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to keep building our cigar business in the sense of accessories and things like that, because we do have such a big cigar following, to be able to sell things related to cigars. But then, mainly the food category. And I think what we're all realizing, and cigar smokers can relate to, is that everything goes together, food and wine, and food and cigars, and just that pairing of things. And somehow, I don't know, I think in the bourbon business too, obviously it goes hand in hand, the food industry, and with that, your palate. And if you're a foodie, you can easily be what do you call them, winos, or
I don't believe that's the
but
the
if you
term
love
that
food,
they
you
prefer.
generally love spirits and wine, and they all just meld. I think a perfect example, and bragging about my dad, but he won a James Beard Award, which is basically usually a food industry award. They obviously have beverage and spirits categories, but the reason he won that award, honestly, obviously, because he's good at what he does, but because he's so closely related to the food industry. So it just makes sense. And I think it's a big category for us, and we see the potential, and we see that people are drawn to that, and what we can do with our barrels is really cool. And I think we're also understanding that quality of the barrels makes a really big difference. Perfect example is our barrel aged maple syrup. I buy any barrel aged maple syrup I ever will see on any shelf. I buy it just to see. You know, I would totally appreciate another product that I think is comparable to ours, and I haven't found one. And so I think it comes down to like our partner, or the maple farmers, but also the quality of our barrels. So, you know, it's very trendy, obviously, to barrel age food, but I think a lot of people are doing it as a marketing, and it's not really authentic, and they're not using quality products. And I think too, with this whole microbrewing craft thing in the world, which is really cool. I love that people are exploring that and making businesses out of that. Which I'm just glad I don't have to, because I feel like I'd be like a needle in a haystack. But, you know, they age whiskey now months, not years. And so the quality of that barrel is not going to be what it is with the ones that we have access to. And so I just have realized that it's something special, what it does to the flavor of the barrel aging products that we make. And people are noticing. So that's been really fun. And I think that's just a huge category.
My kids love that maple syrup, by the way.
I know.
Oh my
Our
God.
children we're just spoiling them with their palates. I tell you what. I mean,
It's a
Aunt
good thing.
Jemima is never gonna be liked in our household, because they've been spoiled by real maple syrup.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna just love bourbon, because they've been basically tasting it with their pancakes since they were babies.
Well, they're definitely in the right family, so you know, that's a good start. So, but listen, I've got just another question for you, for you to share. So, you know, we have like these touching moments. Last time I asked you, you know, a very, you know, a question, and I felt a little bad because you were getting emotional, and it was a good thing. You know, it was a good thing that we shared that here. You know, what is it? You know, what does it mean to you? You're kind of like, your family is one of a kind. We, you know, recognized as you know, bourbon royalty.
Which I still laugh at. Fine.
and I know you do, but listen, you know, with Van Winkle as your name, and what is the Van Winkle name? I mean, we know it's a gold standard for bourbon globally,
Mm-hmm.
but what does it mean in the world of bourbon heritage to you?
Well, I don't know. That's a tough one. I just feel like there's so much to say, but I think the older I've gotten, the more I realized it really is about like upholding a legacy and making a quality product that your, you know, great grandfather would be proud of. Yeah, I think just carrying on the legacy and doing it the right way, which in this world, so many people aren't. But I think I love to be able to show people that, you know, especially in America, you can still be a family run business that is sustainable and can grow over time, doing it the right way and not just thinking about the bottom line and selling. You can still be profitable and all those things.
That's
I said a lot, but that's
beautifully put. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, and you know, that was truly special. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we share that the pride, the legacy of being the best at what you do, and we are definitely honored to be partners with you.
Thank you. Yeah, we feel very lucky. It's fun too, you know.
Listen, we're all lucky. We're here on a Wednesday night, episode 22 of Sticks and Sips, sipping some wine,
and smoking.
You know, sipping
one
and
thing
smoking.
I can't wait to do though is go back to Nicaragua and do cigar safari.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
You got to get in line.
Right? I know. I might be years out.
Yeah, we're all dying to get back to Nica as soon as possible. We all miss it. Everybody up here in the States, we all miss going down.
Mm-hmm. I know that
It,
was such an amazing trip that we
yeah,
got to do.
it resets you, you know, for us, it
Mhm.
resets us, you know, we get, you know, in our daily lives and of business, you know, you lose track sometimes and then you go there and it grounds you back again to remember what you're doing and the other people that are involved with the whole process.
Mhm.
So it's a special place to all of us.
One thing that I think that you all don't do enough of is showing how amazing your factory is and what you all do as a factory for your product, for your employees and all that. And I just think it's such a special part because it makes your all's brand what it is. And
It's a
I
big
don't know.
family
I'm
operation,
always like, come
essentially.
on, guys! Like, I want to see who's making our cigars and show the world because they're special people, and
Well,
it's amazing. It's amazing there.
I've got
Like inspiring.
I've got a 3-minute clip that goes on before every Sticks and Sips where
Oh,
everybody gets
gotcha.
a 3-minute
Thank
tiny
you.
preview
Thank you.
of what
I'll have
it's
to
like.
watch that. Just so you know, guys, we don't get to see that. We just sit
Yeah.
here and chat with each other.
Exactly. So if everyone knows, listen, everybody in the Zoom over here, we can't see the broadcast, but you know, it's always great to see that because it reminds us of and last week we had Pedro on and Henry, and they were talking about the people
Yeah.
that make our
Okay.
product, and
Yeah.
that's our most valuable asset.
Right. Yep.
You know, so with that, I'm going to go to Joey right now, just because it's Mezcal Minute. So
Oh, wow, we're going into it early. Yeah, so Mezcal Minute is brought to you by.
So
It's
who's
brought to you by
Mezcal
Ray
Minute?
Comparo. So it's
Nice.
Mezcal Week. You follow me on Instagram at Joey Drew. You'll see all my mezcal drinking that goes on daily or nightly as it is. So I'm just sitting back, enjoying a great. This producer is amazing. These guys make amazing mezcal. And this is a Mexicano, not the most glorious of names. You know, people get caught up in Tepestate, Tobala, and stuff of that nature, Orequeño. But this one is super fantastic, delicious. Smoking Norteño with that, and just kicking back and enjoying it.
There you go. So listen, we're doing wine. We're doing a little vodka earlier. We're doing champagne and mezcal. I mean, we're doing it
Carrie's
all.
got all three. Carrie's got all three there.
Yeah, she's rocking and rolling over there. She's triple fisting.
Dinner.
Yeah.
We need to add a
I don't know
mezcal
who's cooking,
chaser.
but
We need a mezcal chaser for you, Carrie.
yeah, so it's only almost 6 here in Idaho, so I'm gonna get off here and be like, okay, now what?
Time for dinner.
Time for a nap. So
now it's time for questions.
Time
Frankie.
for questions. All right, thank you for that. My first question today, Stephen Finley. What's up, man?
Woo-hoo.
Stephen Finley, ask Carrie. In this case, it would be ask Carrie Dranks. What were the challenges you didn't expect as a lady-led team that you were able to conquer? I'll repeat that. So what were the challenges you didn't expect as a lady-led team that you were able to conquer?
I don't know. I'm not very good off the cuff like that with questions of the sort because we just kind of truck along and didn't even realize really what we were getting into in regards to being all women-led. But right now we're conquering being women and having more emotions in the workforce on our team. Then maybe, but also it's because we're building something, you know, we really care about our culture, and given that we just want to, I don't know, I'm open a can of worms, but yeah, I think maybe just being such a close knit team of women, it can be challenging, but also awesome because we are so close. We're kind of, you know, we're all coworkers and friends, because it's just part of our way to be friends and not just bosses or coworkers. So that I would say is a challenge, but I think it's more positive than anything, and it's something we've been able to overcome and work on and make us stronger than any other thing. So yeah.
Girl
That's
power.
awesome. Girl power.
Girl power.
We actually just did some hiring, and we did interview some guys, and they just didn't fit the job needs as well. But we are open to it.
I like that. I like that. Fair enough. And Stephen, congratulations on your lovely Pappy Van Winkle Travel Humidor. Next up, Joe Cuellar, congratulations. Ask Frankie Drinks, what process is used to make the great taste of the Pappy sticks? And I'll throw that over to Ask Joey Drinks.
Oh wow! Well, that's the combined step of the Kentucky Fire cured leaf, shipped down to St. James Parish, like you said earlier, and it's put it through a process in barrels under pressure, which is traditionally used for Perique. That's the little bit of magic, and then it's Willie Herrera and the team in Nika with their magic, blending in amazing Nicaraguan tobaccos in the blend, and that's really what makes that cigar stand out amongst all the other ones that we make that stand out. To be such a unique product.
I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I believe it's just that beautiful combination.
The process,
mouthfeel,
it's everything. The process is so intense, and the transformation that takes place is unlike any other tobacco that any other producer uses. So it is truly a unique cigar amongst all the cigars that are available to you.
Let me ask you a question in the middle of this. I have it right, that there's no other product in the market in the world that takes the Kentucky Fire cured smoked tobacco and ferments it in barrels?
None.
Okay.
Yours is the only one.
I've been saying that. I just want to make sure that I'm
100%. That was JD in his magical mind that he has, conceived that and made it happen. Not knowing what was going to come out the other end, but he knew what was going to come out the other end was something really, really special. And for that to actually happen is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Joey. Next up, Timothy Patrick. Ask Frankie Drinks, white wine or red wine with a stick, and why? So I'm going to throw that over to Ask Rafi Drinks. Rafi, white wine, red wine, and with what sticks? So, I mean, I think we touched upon this, but let's get a refresh over here.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely red wine, I would go with the bolder style. You're trying to pair flavor profiles together, and you're going to have a little bit more fruit in that big red, and white wine with a lighter wrapper, with a lighter style cigar, much like the Undercrown, the Shade, something like that, so that you're not overpowering flavors. The big key to that is don't overpower flavors. Like, stay inside the flavor box. You can go anywhere in the flavor box, but try and stay inside of it so that you don't just completely go off the deep end.
Yeah, let's not crayon outside on this one. We want to play harmoniously, and part of it is getting a harmonious situation. So, Carrie, how are those bubbles?
Really good. Yeah.
Good, because I'm
just gonna drink bubbles with my dinner.
Hey, listen.
Bubbles, I'm drinking it, but
yeah, and bubbles with dinner, bubbles at any time. I mean, Champagne is a wine. When you travel to the Champagne region in France, they don't have a still wine. It's not for celebration. It's the wine of the day, and that's what you're drinking. So there's no reason we shouldn't drink as much champagne as we can. It's not just for celebration. And if it is, let's celebrate life every day, right? You get one shot at it, so have fun doing it.
Somehow I'm not doing this life thing correctly because I'm not having champagne every day. So I need to work on that.
I like having champagne in my bubble bath. That's the best place.
But Frankie, it sounds like your wife is, so that counts for you.
Yes, it counts. It counts. I always get the recommendations from Raf what to bring home, and it's like, oh, that was great. I'm like, you drank it all? So with that, Chris Coulter, congratulations. You won a Pappy Van Winkle Travel Humidor. What should people know about the terms old vine and new vine wines? And I'm going to throw that right back to Rafi Drinks.
Yeah, absolutely. So old vine is a term that was coined um, a long time ago. To tell you the truth, I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you that I know exactly what it is, but because every region's different. So some regions will look at a vine that's older than 25 years old or older than 50 years old and say it's old vines. It's a selling point. It goes to show you that on a bottle, there's a lot more care in there, potentially. Maybe it's a family, much like what Carrie puts out. It's a family heritage, a family name that they're protecting and that they're wanting to showcase. So old vine is really a term that doesn't necessarily have a set age limit to the vines, but usually they're older than 50 years old.
You caught me mid sip, man. So
I'll
thank you
keep
for
talking.
that. Thank you, Raph, on that one. Last question, Steve Blanchard. He doesn't want to be teased anymore. Steve, his question is, how does he get these awesome Pappy and Drew Estate cigars? He couldn't imagine a better combo. So I'm gonna say, listen, go to Pappy and Co. Online, look them up, and you're gonna find their beautiful. Go through their whole website. Enjoy, check out all the different products they've got. They've got houseware products. They've got food products. Great stuff that you're gonna love. And then go to cigar section. You're gonna see a beautiful selection of the Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented cigars, and you're gonna find some great things that you can't find anywhere else, plus a tradition. So with that, congratulations on it.
To call out and just give us a place to shop. So we're the only online retailer, but you can find the barrel fermented in all the DDRP accounts.
Correct. So Steve, you've got the Pappy Van Winkle travel humidor. Now you need to fill it. So let's get to it, man. Like Raph said, life is short. Celebrate. So with that, listen, we've gotten to the end of episode 22. Can you guys believe it?
It's amazing.
Episode 22.
It's crazy. I still have half a bottle to go with dinner too.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
I can't believe it's been 18 or so weeks since we had Carrie on. It's like it's amazing what we've all gone through in this time period. It's unbelievable
we're still
times
here
we
in
live in.
Little nooks in our homes.
Yeah, we're still
And I like seeing everybody's. Mine's just outside, but I also was curious, Raph, what are those bottles back there on the wall? Not the liquor bottles, but the other side.
Oh, those are bitters. Those are
okay, homemade?
No, they're not homemade. Okay. A friend of mine out of Minneapolis makes them. They're
really cool.
It's a bitter line that he's got. So
neat.
Yeah, you always got to dress
there you go.
I'm gonna come to your house and have a cocktail, Raph.
These?
No, they're not bitter cube. They're
really out of Minneapolis too.
They're wow. Gosh, you caught me off guard. I'll tell you. Hold on.
It's called bitter something. It's got to be.
They look like.
It's got to do Pappy Van Winkle bitters.
I totally forgot. They're the Dash Fire bitters from Lee Egbert in Minneapolis.
Very cool.
Dash Fire bitter.
Cool.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Raph has got everything. Everything.
I want to come have some meat and cocktails at Raph's.
Listen, listen. You get those barrel staves, and we'll smoke that elk.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Maybe on a steamboat.
Even better. Field trip. Glenn, if you're watching, just approve the expenditures.
Right?
The teeny budget just went up.
Budget.
I'll drive. I can drive to Colorado.
Yeah, it'll take us a little while to get there, but we'll be there.
You'll apply. I can drive.
It's 36 hours nonstop, Frank. 4 drivers, just rotate.
I hear the air in the airplane's really clean these days. So, so with that, I want to thank my guest, Carrie, for joining us, Rafael for joining us, my man Joey, Drew. I want to thank everybody at Drew Estate. You guys keep grinding, man. We're killing it. Keep doing what you do, and that's everybody from the factory to the warehouse, our sales team, our marketing team, our leadership. It really takes everybody. It takes the village to make it work. And super honored with you. Make sure that you follow us. Well, make sure that you support. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get the hang of this. It's only been 22 weeks. Make sure you support your local liquor stores. Make sure you support your local brick and mortar cigar shops. If you're looking for some of these great products, do a search online. You'll find them. Caliza, Orinda Hayes, Keisler, Cuyer. And go to Pappy and Co as well, and make sure you follow us on Instagram. Follow Frankie Drinks. I'll show you all the cool stuff because I got cool friends. And so listen, next week it's Joey's week. It's Joey's week. We're celebrating Mezcal next week for Mexican Independence Day, and so we're gonna have a good time. So I welcome all of you guys to join us. I'm taking my last sip, and with that,
Peace out.
good night.
Salud.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.
Salud.
Cheers, everybody.
Take
Cheers.
care.